Oh, yeah. Here we go. It's episode 102, Height Drop. Thank you guys for being here. We got Nate Weston on this episode. He's got a big project coming out. We got to catch up and nothing much more to say. So enjoy it. Great to have Nate on as always. You guys know who he is, the amazing and talented Nate Weston.
I'm ready. Let's do
I
it.
knew you would be. I was like,
Yeah.
Nate's always ready. He's just like ready. Well, all right, let's get into it then, because obviously the big announcement is that you just put out, or you didn't even put it out. Tempest put out a little post about you got a new project coming up here now, and it's real exciting because this is about the same time as Skull Chutter came out last year, a little bit later, and yeah, just what can you tell us about what that project is and when did it even like come into existence? This idea of
Yeah. No, it's been again quite a crazy year. I think I'll try to rewind and kind of get into like the lead up into the project. But this whole year started off super weird for me, and it just was like one of my lowest points. And I ended up leaving LA in February of this year and coming back up here
mm,
and trying to, you know, make sense of everything and try and figure out what my path was.
mm,
If it wasn't with parkour or with stunts or whatever. And yeah, it was just a weird limbo of kind of waiting for things to go back to normal with COVID and trying to make sense of what my purpose was. And it just wasn't going the way I thought it was going to go. Like nothing, it felt like every door was closing and I had no idea what I wanted to do besides, like enlisting in the Marines or being a firefighter or something. Like I just needed some sort of, purpose.
yeah,
And I didn't know what that was if it wasn't for parkour, because that's all of my, my life has been for the past 10 years now. So it was kind of like this mixture of, anxiety of wondering what the heck I'm doing and stress of, how am I going to live and how am I going to exist if I don't if I don't do what I want to do. And so summertime kind of came around, and I'm still really good friends with Sam Wood, and he was still living in Missoula at the time, and he wanted to think about going down to LA or San Diego. And I kind of, expressed the same thing. I'm trying to give it another shot before I really call it quits. And so we both just got an Airbnb for a month in LA in August. And so, yeah, so we went down there and kind of tried to see if anything stuck and just see if things would kind of, get back to normal. And it was really good to see everyone again. And I mean, I had taken basically the whole year off training. All I did was skate. Like all I did was skate.
oh yeah,
And it was weird. It felt like kind of, I forget what the term is, but it just felt like I didn't belong in the community anymore. And I didn't really feel like I
in
trained
which community?
in parkour. It
In
just felt
parkour.
like
Okay, yeah,
I had, yeah, it just felt like I'd kind of not moved on, but I just didn't know what was driving me anymore.
yeah.
And training itself wasn't really fun as much anymore. And so I just kind of took a step back, and it kind of felt like a imposter syndrome. Like it just felt like I didn't belong.
Mm,
And so going back to LA was kind of, the first few weeks were a little interesting, just seeing how things kind of picked up again. But thankfully, like basically I was like 2 weeks in, and I remember calling my brother and just like breaking down, like,
mm,
I don't know what's going on. Like, I think I'm going to have to like leave LA, like get rid of everything and just go and like stop, doing any of this. And it was a really hard pill to swallow because I fully kind of accepted it that, this was not going to be kind of my life anymore.
Can I ask before you continue? Because, well, sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but it's just like I'm just a little curious about what was like more the normal, or what was the doors that you were hoping would stay open that were kind of closing? Is it just like the work was not sustainable? Was it? Can you describe a
Yeah.
little bit more about like what wasn't working and why you were gonna have to leave? Was it?
it just felt like training was very short, like a short-term goal.
Mm,
And ultimately, I want to, make a living, and stunts were not, there was nothing really going on. And so it was just
mm,
this lull of no work and kind of all training. And it felt like there was no sustainability there.
mm,
And so my mind couldn't stop thinking about what the next, I can't keep doing this exact thing forever.
for sure.
Um, and it just felt like I was kind of awaiting the inevitable. So I might as well kind of, embrace it now.
Mm,
But yeah, I just needed purpose, and I needed something to kind of strive for. And I just felt like LA wasn't doing that at first. And after having that conversation with my brother, it was weird because the next day or two, I got these two kind of, signs or doors open that, oh, you should definitely be in LA. I got this, potential big stunt job coming up, and met some really cool people, and was surprised to see how quickly, training came back. And it was reassuring to know that you can take like, you know, 6 months off, and
mm,
with the right kind of drive and the right motivation, you can bring it all back. And it really all came back so quickly. And so like the main focus of this video here now is maybe less about the moves in the video itself, but more just of a kind of a celebration of where I'm at in my point, like at this point in time in my life, where training feels like fun again, and I'm back, you know, here in the community, and it feels, just like home again. And kind of trying to pay an homage to Skull Chatter too, where, like it was that last year was, super in my head, super, all these negative thoughts and stuff. And it kind of has hit me that, those thoughts don't just kind of go away, and you don't really want them to fully go away either, which is kind of you know, a weird thing. Because if you fully get rid of all those weird and negative thoughts, then, you don't really have contrast to really appreciate like the good side of everything.
mm.
It's just, learning to deal with them in a healthy way. Um, so that's kind of the main focus of the project. And yeah, one of the Pavel from the Tempest media team was just saying, hey, you seem like you're back in training, and I think we should do a video. And I was super on board. So yeah, we've just been working on it ever since I got back from LA, and did some went to Texas and went to Arizona and filmed some stuff. And yeah, I'm stoked. It's
Yeah.
you know, it just feels good to be back in the swing of things, and I can't wait to, be back in LA and just kind of get on with the next, what that next thing is. And it's nice to know that there's not this barrier of, as much so as COVID right now. It doesn't feel like there's a big holdback for the next, step or whatever. So for the first time in a while, I feel really excited to, see what these next, 6 to 12 months, and really bring. So yeah, that's mainly the biggest thing of the project. It's I think less about like there's gonna be I think it's gonna be like 50-50 of clips that I've already shared on Instagram, and
Mm,
also new clips that hasn't been seen yet. Because I think after Skull Chatter, it was interesting seeing, it takes a lot to save up clips and
mm.
completely not share anything, and then have this big thing. And not to say that Skull Chatter felt like a letdown, but it was like it's a balance of, uh, putting all your creativity into this one project, but then you're sacrificing, showing what you're doing on a regular basis via social media, which,
Mm.
I guess really in the long run doesn't really make that big of a difference.
Well, I think you're
But I just
talking.
like,
Yeah, I think you're talking to. There's a connectivity there. There's a ability to share that way. That
yeah,
it's like, if you're not gonna do it, you're kind of like, you don't realize it, but that connection, that sharing with people, can be a way that supports you. That's just gone if you're like, I gotta stack it up.
yeah. And
Or
I
I
think
guess,
there's a time and place for both.
sure. And yeah, there's like it's an evolution probably for your content stream if you have a certain standard. I mean, to me, tell me if this is at all accurate, because it sounds like there was some things, and from my own experience, I would say this is true, but you can get like into this mindset of, these are the things I have to do, and like this is the way that I am good, and I can't take 6 months off. Like there's these rules that kind of come into your frame of mind that eventually they do like support you, and they get you there because they get you disciplined, or they get you really focused, and they get you into a growth period. But then you have to let them all go like one by one, and it's just like super weird and scary, because you're like, this is the thing that made me good, or this is the way I used to train. And then as this stuff kind of like eventually you hit the ceiling with it, and it has to dissolve, otherwise it kind of keeps you from growing. So that's just what I kind of heard in that story. And I remember seeing your posts early on in the year, and just you kind of like drifted off from regular, but then you came back, and there was like, oh shit, like Nate's on fire right now. Like, what's he up to, man? What's he on right now? He's just like putting out just crazy bangers, for a good stretch there, where it's just like, holy shit, this is the Nate we know in some ways, but also we don't know all the Nates that, so this is, but anyhow.
Yeah, the new Nate with the new beard.
The new beard. Oh yeah, you had the goatee for a while. You had like, dude, going through changes, baby. I love it, man. I love how you've shared your journey with us through these projects and through doing interviews and things. And so I really appreciate that, because I think it's such a common, even though everyone does it their own unique way, there's so many parallels to what you're talking about and things that I've experienced. And I know that there's other people that probably go through similar things, but we almost never talk about it for whatever reason, at least with each other. And I wonder sometimes why that is,
Yeah, there's a weird stigma against it for some reason. It's, like you said, like everyone goes through it. Everyone has these weird moods and these weird thoughts that come in that no one likes to acknowledge, but it's all there in varying intensities. It just matters, on how you're feeling. And my way of coping with it and way of communicating it is literally through movement and through these projects. I love to just share what's on my mind and what's going on in my life, through these little projects here and there. And I think it's also I forget who said it. I think it was probably Callum Powell, who he's just talks about I can't wait to be an older man and look back and see all the little projects and all the memories of the trips I took. And it's just such a special thing to be able to have the ability to just create these projects so easily. And they're just so readily available to us at all times. And as time goes on, it's going to become more and more fun to look back and reminisce. And because that's all everything really is just memories, is the most beautiful thing we have. And that's what I want to share. But
awesome. Yeah, no doubt, man. When is the project coming out, by the way? Do you know?
We're aiming for December 24th, so Christmas Eve is
nice.
the plan.
The gift of this project. I had a question. I know Frosty's a part of the Tempest team, and I know he's got the tattoos here and now on his wrist, right? Did he have anything? Is that kind of like a thing that you guys like on that team, or
it's like we actually it didn't have any
no correlation.
Communication, correlation, but it just happened to be the exact same thing.
Oh, nice. I dig it.
Like me and Pavel were in Arizona, I think it was like a month or two ago. And we were just thinking of title ideas, and I was just looking up on like Google, like all these different, like on the thesaurus, just trying to figure out like what words look nice and sound good. And Here Now just clicked, and it's one of those random things that just kind of matched.
Totally. No, I like it a lot, man. I love the juxtaposition against Skull Chatter as well. Like the cover art, even like it's just cool. It's cool to watch your journey. I'm sure for you, it's going to be really cool reminiscing, years from now. But even just from the present time, just I'm looking at your skull chatter actually right now. It's on my coffee table. Hey, what's up?
Oh yes, dude, let's go.
Yeah. So thank you for that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
Epic piece. If you guys haven't, is there going to be anything that comes out in terms of like merchandise or photo books or anything with this one?
Right now, no, not right now. Yeah, it's just it came up so quickly, and there was just not really enough time to get enough kind of photos and time into it that we had for Skull Chatter. But I really would love to keep doing more stuff like that, because it just creates such meaningful, you just to be able to have a physical thing in your hands is such a big difference compared to just watching a video. So I'm hoping that, I'll be heading back to LA before the New Year's, and hoping to kind of get back into the grind of, training like full time, and just see where that next kind of project is hiding away, and try and uncover that kind of creativity and motivation again.
Totally. Yeah. It's weird that we, as athletes, we often think of ourselves as athletes, but I feel like we're more of artists when it comes to like these things, and obviously we all are athletes as well, but there's like different albums. These are like albums that you're dropping in my head, and it's just, you have to evolve as an artist often to keep yourself interested, totally. And so sometimes the audience doesn't always come along with, that's famous, or that's, cliche in a way for bands that kind of reinvent themselves, and, their old fans get all pissed off, and who knows what. So I don't know if like that's what but that's part of that growth process as a individual artist, I think too, for you is, and that's where some of that imposter syndrome comes from. It's like, you're not feeling yourself fitting in with the old paradigm. But
yeah, I mean, that's my biggest thing with creating video projects is like you said, being like, and thinking of it in terms of art, and less of just athleticism and pure skill. It's just, there's something else when you can mesh both worlds beautifully, and it creates such an amazing piece. But like you said, you're constantly having to, we're all constantly changing, and we're all going through different times of our lives, and you're never the same person, and sometimes it's harder than other days to really kind of embrace that change. But I mean, you got to grow, you got to find new ways of expressing yourself, and living with yourself too. And I just love it's just, yeah, it makes me, the main thing I want to always come back to is the Here Now project is more just me being stoked to be back to training, and finding that passion again. And yeah, couldn't be happier.
That's awesome, man.
Dream come true again.
Yeah, man, it's a beautiful thing to see you just kind of get through that and get to the next level of enjoyment with this parkour practice that we all love. Do you think that this is how do you feel about the evolution of like, I think one of the ways that you're contributing to the sport, or the art form, since we just talked about it that way, is this, you're setting a new standard of like, all right, back-to-back yearly projects. We've had some of this. Giannis Shower just dropped his video, and he's been known to like do these yearly videos that are pretty, they all have their own little uniqueness, flavors and stuff. Where do you see like parkour, right now taking some of these video things, and what is original and unique about what we're doing, do you think, that we can really offer? Because I feel like there's a time, there was a time, there's generations, and we've done a lot of what other sports have also done, and we've done our own thing. And also I think that there's something that I haven't been able to quite pin down about parkour, and why it's it's relevant to our time and our generation, and why it's a demonstration of kind of a certain kind of growth. And again, I can't really put it into words right now, but I'm just like hunting for that explanation, because I feel like that it's in the same way that skateboarding kind of like changed, you know, the whole culture, the whole zeitgeist by its existence, and it's still doing that. Although I think there's different things, and I don't know where parkour falls in that, you know, but I do feel that there's a zeitgeist that's also changing, that's bigger than parkour and bigger than skateboarding, bigger than any sport, but that's just true to our generation as millennials, that kind of still isn't defined yet.
Yeah, no, I've been trying to put my finger on, you know, what kind of meaning parkour brings just to the world in general, and why, like, why is it interesting? Why do people want to, like, why do people want to train this? Why do people want to watch this? And it's been really interesting trying to figure it out, because I can't put my finger on it either. But in the back of my mind, I always think, you know, there's, you know, running, and there's climbing, and there's all these, you know, very, compared to parkour, I would say very basic level of, you know, of athleticism, but they're incredible athletes. And there's also a lot of attention to those sports and individually. And it gives me hope that there is a time and place for parkour in the future, and there is a lot more room for growth. But right now I've been questioning what is the, you know, what is the end, not the end goal, but what is the path? Because it seems like the parkour kind of, to me, and I don't, maybe I'm too close to really fully picture it or see it, but it feels like it's kind of gone through a bit of a, like a lull, or a bit of like a weird like low phase where nothing seems like it's like happening too much. I think maybe it's because there's less competition, and maybe less like events have going on. That way you're not seeing the connection of all these different people from different cultures and different countries. But I think because there's only so much, you know, authentic, you know, communication and like sharing that can go on just via social media.
Yeah, totally.
And just videos. But yeah, I don't know. I want to keep, you know, I believe that there is a spot in the, you know, a place for parkour, and like in the same vein that skating is right now. I think I you know, from what Dylan Baker was talking about in your Helms Deeper tour, you know, the like climbing, they're just going up a wall. Like it's just it's just, you know, and that offers enough, you know, depth and enough creativity to, you know, offer all this amazing, you know, this just amazing athleticism and creativity. And parkour has a lot to offer as well. But I think it's just a matter of kind of, you know, how we find that. I don't really know, but, you know, I think it's just a matter of putting one foot in front of the other and just keeping on doing what we're doing. Because, you know, I think we're on the right track. It's just a matter of keeping it going. But I don't know.
I don't either, man. I feel you. I think we're on the right track too. I think there's some threads like with martial arts that we share, and with climbing, and like I think climbing, one of the beautiful things about it. I just watched that Alpinist movie. Did you see that?
I started watching it. Yeah, dude, I love that.
Okay, well, I can't talk to you about it until you finish it, because it's super nasty. It's like one of the craziest films. I don't know how far you got into it, but
I think I was like 40 minutes in.
That's one of like the most insane things. That guy is crazy. But I would love to talk to you about that after you watch it. But one of the things about that is like it gets nature involved in a big way, like just Earth, you know. I think that's one of the most compelling things about climbing is you're just like, wow, the scale of like Earth, of like, you know, like just mountains is so much bigger than anything that humans have ever done. So like that's one of the things I think that really makes that like dynamic and just interesting and compelling.
Dude, driving into Yosemite Valley and just seeing the scale of El Cap it doesn't even though I've watched the film and
Yeah.
I know I know he's done it. Alex Honnold's done that free solo. It doesn't make sense. It literally is like, yeah, it just doesn't make sense. And I even go to like, I went to the base of it and like looked straight up, and it looks like it leans back away.
Oh yeah.
It's just a sheer wall of just 3,000 feet or something. Dude,
Yeah.
insane.
So I think that we have some ability with parkour is always kind of like not felt as interesting to me in nature for whatever reason. Like there's a thing there, but it's almost like it's part of the lifestyle component. It's like it's adjacent to parkour, but it's not really the main vein for whatever reason. And I love going to nature and I love training even outside, but it's just whatever. I don't know. I just like don't know if that's ours, but we share something there. I think that martial arts, like there's a certain just simplicity, like you're talking about, with just some of these like climbing and running and some of these other things. No apparatus. There's no skateboard. There's something pure about parkour in that regard. That it's like a study of our own, mechanism that we're, born into. And I think that's one of the things that makes it really compelling. And I think that's something that people are getting more interested. I think that's one of the reasons why the UFC has become such a big, influence in mainstream culture right now. And I've been a huge fan of it for a while now, but I think that there's something there that we also share that martial arts has, where it's like, there's just nothing besides you and what is. And
I think pure. Yeah. It's very pure.
And I think UFC and MMA and martial arts, like actual combat sports, is maybe the most compelling thing on the planet in terms of like art forms to watch. Not that to take anything away from parkour, but it's just like those are the guys and women that I'm like, that's like another like meta level to be going against another human. Because as crazy as parkour is, actually, they're both in the same way. They're both like kind of a battle with yourself is really your main opponent, and that's kind of the beautiful thing about all these martial arts is like, regardless of who you're up against in the ring, like really it's kind of, you go against yourself and like how prepared you can get and how, just how much you can sharpen yourself for a certain moment on a certain night for that sport, or for a certain moment on a certain night or day for us.
Yeah, because you have to go into that ring with the mentality of, like, to a certain extent, this is my life and I'm fighting for it. Like, and there's also a level of sportsmanship that is amazing. I can't believe that they can flip both of those switches on at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. There's crazy. Just like another switch there sometimes, it feels like, where it's like, you're in your underwear, you're fighting in front of millions of people. There's like celebrities in the front row, just like eating popcorn. Like, you're just like, oh my God, what's his name? Who knows? Like, I just can't imagine what a crazy feeling it must be to be a fighter sometimes. I feel like it gets so intense, and from what interviews and stuff, it's kind of like when you ask somebody, like they just did a big descent or whatever, or they did something like that was death defying for the first time, or, they broke a thing, and you're just like, how was that? And you're like, I don't really know. Like you get yourself into a space where you're like, something takes over and you're just kind of like, you're witness to it, but you're not even there almost. You're just like, I just did that. But
you're so in the moment that there's no way you can.
There's so much energy flowing through you that it's like you kind of aren't even there.
Dude, yeah.
But yeah, it's like it takes all the focus. It takes so much focus that it takes like it takes you out of your personality, your ego.
Like you almost not black out, but you can't quite remember it like you would if it was just a regular day.
Like
you can't recount everything.
Yeah. So I just think it's so fascinating, and but anyway, yeah, we'll see. I'm excited for big projects. I love that you're giving us something to talk about here on the podcast, and
yeah, I appreciate you having me on, man. It's good to hear and see you, and it's just that these connections are super valuable, and hopefully soon I'll be back in Denver and we can get some descent training and some, some good old training.
Oh man. I mean, I think like, yeah, we'll see. we'll
I
see
haven't
what's
done
going on.
descents in so long, dude.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where you all like, this is part of the evolution. I don't know if you agree, but it's like you get to a certain point where it's not that I don't understand going like to that level where, you're like, I want to push it that hard. I want to be exposed to death. I want to be
Hmm.
exposed to the highest consequences. But at the same time, at a certain level, it's like, okay, I kind of understand that feeling. I've put myself in that space enough times that I
Yeah,
don't like,
you
I
don't
know
really
also
you
that
don't
you
need
have,
it anymore.
yeah, I don't need it. And also I know what it takes to be safe in that space. And I'm not
Yeah, yeah.
necessarily willing to dedicate myself to that again.
Yeah, you're not, because like when you first kind of get into it, it's more of like a test to see if
mm,
you can,
mm-hmm,
be comfortable and basically get the job done.
mm-hmm.
But like you said, once you accomplish that and gotten over, I mean, it literally is the highest of consequence.
Yeah.
And so once you can kind of get past that, it's not idiotic, but I would say it's kind of
Redundant almost.
silly, yeah, redundant to just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Um, and I think, yeah, with the sense, I think I had that same feeling where it's the same movement over and over and over again, and it's not that interesting. So the win, it's not really a win-win. It's kind of just a risk at
Mm.
that point. And it's also just one of those things where I see my nephews, and I'm like, I want to keep hanging out with these little guys. I don't want to I don't want to be risking this all the time.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I think that there's also, for people that take it to that level or have taken it really as high as they can possibly go, there's also this pattern of, going through kind of what you had gone through earlier this year, and just being like, okay, well then what is this for? Cause where am I at
Yeah.
with it? And I wanted to talk, I'm putting this out there so I can hold myself accountable, I guess. But like, I wanted to talk next to Tim Sheaf, because it's been a long time since anyone, I feel like, has really checked in with him. I mean, he's obviously put out content
Interesting.
and
Yeah.
stuff, but I feel like there's a certain amount of, once people stop moving, like you said, you're like, well, I'm gonna give it up maybe, or
Hmm.
which, who knows what that means to you. But I'm just aware that there's sort of a narrative, or there was when I was, a practitioner that was younger, that, okay, well, once you're not making videos or whatever, it's like, you're just not in it anymore. And I get that, it's like, if that's what you're interested in is the moves, then yeah, you're not interested in what Tim Sheaf's doing anymore. But because Tim Sheaf was who he was to me at the time when
Hmm.
the sport was popping off, in that era, I
Hmm.
am still interested in his journey, and I'm still interested in the same way that I'm interested in yours, because I'm interested in humans, in like what they're doing, and like
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
they are, that like got them to do, yes, this thing in parkour, but just like, okay, well then who they are to do that is also who they might be, not doing that. And I don't know if that makes sense, but
No. Yeah.
I'd like
That's
to see
super
us like,
fair.
yeah, I just like to keep in touch with some of these more peripheral legends, you could say.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's nice to know that you know I think it's healthier to kind of have that mindset, because it's like, all right, well, the moment you stop training, or the moment you stop putting out videos, then no one cares. But that's not the truth. Like you said,
Yeah, no, you could
we're
come
interested
back.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or like
you
like
can
you said too, if
be.
you took a whole year off and then you came back, you're like, I'm doing it again. We're all like, oh shit. Like, even if you're not, if you just post about something. But if Tim Sheaf wanted to put a video out, he's lost no ground. He's lost no
No.
ground with the community. If he, not that he wants to do that, obviously, but sorry, I didn't mean to get so excited. I kind of like jumped in front of you there, but it's just like,
No, go over that. You're
it's
good.
just like, yeah, it's, even though Conor McGregor has lost his last like 6 fights or whatever, not that many, but he's lost a lot of fights recently.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, of course, there's going to be people that, throw shade and jump off the bandwagon. But at the same time, it's just because he hit that certain point, he's always going to be an interesting figure in the sport. And
Oh yeah.
no matter what he does, it's like people are going to want to pay attention to see how that unfolds. Um, and every human
Yeah,
being
and
is like
especially
that.
when you're
Everyone's
at
like that.
that top level too.
Yeah.
like for Conor McGregor,
Yeah.
everyone's looking at him and everyone's trying to pull him back down.
Well,
you know?
I think that's one of the reasons like why I still respect him, because regardless of like, you know, it's been hard to be his fan, you know, like the last couple of years, just because of like the way he's carried himself has not been so admirable or respectable. But because I understand like what it took to get to like, again, those rules that we talked about, it's like he made himself insane, because now it's kind of being more revealed just how hard it was to do what he did. When you see the belt changing hands between like different champions, and like, oh, everyone thinks like people thought Dustin was going to win last Saturday, but he didn't, you know, it's like, it's a lot harder to build a streak sometimes, and to like double down and gamble on yourself and like, you know, go in and fight with injuries than people really understand. And so it was really against all odds. It was like he was on this crazy hot streak. And also the only reason,
it makes you appreciate that way more after seeing it. And
which is
not a downfall, but you see after, you know, all that stuff transpires, you know, you really like, oh, that was something special.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. And this is the same reason why we understand, like, you know, when you put out a video or you put out new moves and things, it's like, it's super hard. Or Giannis's video from, you know, the other day, it's just like, even to like get in the octagon again, or to get in front of the camera again is super difficult. Even if like, it's like you put out the video and it doesn't have the response that like, oh, your old video did or whatever. It's like, you know, people are going to throw shit and shade on, oh, there's going to be the naysayers, but that's like, you know, that going in, that's why it's hard. And so, you know, that like the people that still do it are, you know, gangster for doing it, I guess you could. So
yeah, no, that's a good point. I remember the first kind of the first week or two of filming, I remember being kind of hesitant and being like, you know, my ego was being very heavily involved, and just saying, you know, you've got to live up to what you did in the past, which is not true. And it was funny because the moment I kind of ignored that and just was happy to be moving again and back to normal, it felt like I almost progressed past where I was last year. And it seems like it shouldn't work that way, but it absolutely did. I'm in no way trying to, you know, live up to, or, you know, directly trying to one up myself, but just the fact of putting one step in front of the other and enjoying the moment, that in itself is progress, and that in itself is growth, which is the thing I'm most looking forward to and most trying to work on. Because if you only focus on progression and you only focus on, you know, just the pure athleticism, or not athleticism, but the pure just skill level, and if you're always comparing yourself to who you were, it just doesn't hit as well. I don't know why. It seems like it should, but
no, I think this is one of the through lines, I think, that is relevant to the whole generational thing that we're going through. And it could just be me, and I could just be kind of like a part of like something that kind of, I mean, even if I'm right now, what I'm about to say, it's kind of potentially just a cyclical thing where it's like you kind of go this way, then you go that way, and that's just kind of the nature of life. But we're in a phase right now where it's like, you know, I think that kind of pushing yourself and just going more and more and more extreme is a good, and has been used already as a analogy to like capitalist, just, you know, shareholder interests being at the forefront of like what society is kind of all about. And just like the insustainability of that, you know, and how that actually holds us back as a species in many ways, is just this perpetual need to outdo ourselves and like have a bigger rocket going faster to the moon or to Mars that's more cock shaped than the other guys, you know? Or like just fucking, you know, more money, more, just like an insatiable, you know, black hole of like extra, but only in this one dimension of like material, or just like you're saying, like there's only in this one dimension of like how far is your Kong, or like how big is your jump, or how much can you lift. It's like, we could keep pushing that by inches and pounds and millimeters just forever. But when does that game like need to sit inside a bigger game and like not be the game, you know? And so they call it the infinite game, I think, and I don't know who came up with that, but anyhow,
that's cool.
There's like this larger path, right? And so I think it's awesome that by embracing a slightly larger path, you actually realize that you're better at the game that you thought you were having to play, the narrower one.
Anyway, so there's more longevity to it for sure too.
Yeah, and so I don't know. I think that there's actually that story in our generation of just like, obviously there was people that were more concerned about sustainability in the earth and all that, but I feel like this, before I'm dead, I feel like we kind of are figuring this out, you know, if I live average length or longer life. It's just like, it seems like we're kind of going to have to, but you know, everyone is thinking they're living in unique times, right? So it's just that kind of fallacy at the same time. But it truly does feel like we just know too much now, and information is still very vague and amorphous in terms of like getting it to pin down, but the cream will rise to the top, I think, by the end of our lives.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, you know, it's not completely reinventing the wheel, but I think it's just a matter of just looking at it from the bigger picture. And, you know, we're not having to survive and worry about, you know, just like these basic things. We live a very comfortable life in comparison to, you know, past generations. So it gives us time to really think about, you know, how we want to play the game.
Yeah.
And, you know, what I love is just that everyone can, you know, do what they need to do to make it work for them. But yeah, for me, it's just you know, it's like you said, it's not about who can jump the furthest, who can lift the heaviest. It's, you know, that's obviously something to look forward to and to appreciate in the moment when you get those moments, but that should not be the final goal, because once that happens, then, you know, how satisfying is that moment after it happens? I think the more satisfying moments are when you truly appreciate each moment on its own, and you're not looking for that other side of the, you know, the grass is always greener on the other side. If you're always looking for that other person's, you know, achievement, then you're not going to really appreciate what you're doing right here and right now. So
boom,
here now,
boom, you brought it
full
home,
circle,
dude.
Baby.
What in the fucking world? All right, well, we should probably call it there. That's a good little length there. That'll fit on Instagram Live or whatever the fuck. And thank you so much for being a part of it. And, you know, having we got Matrix Resurrections. I can't wait for that. And then right after that, we got Here Now by Nate Weston. So this holiday season is going to be
it's going to be a good holiday season. That's for sure.
Good season to sit on my ass and watch some epic content.
Amen.
All right, brother. I'll take care. Right. Talk to you soon.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Have a good one.
Bye. Ooh, all right. Yes. Thank you guys for being a part of this one. Thank you, Nate Weston, for being our guest and for doing your thing. And we will see you guys on the next episode. If you have any questions, you can send them to me. And you can check out the description for all the ways that you are able to support the podcast. We appreciate it. Everyone who is here and chooses to do something on that list. Until next time.